to the monitor. SEC football, it just means more. Now back to your favorite bearded duo, Todd and Marty.
Welcome back, everybody, to another great episode of the Unreviewed Podcast. Alongside me is my co-host, Marty. I am your host, Todd. This is episode 42, I would want to say.
Well, that's pretty close because I think I said 40, 41. I knew I was in the M. What's up, guys?
What up, guys?
It's been a long day already. What's up, guys? Glad to have you back. Glad to be back. And we're getting close to the end, Todd.
The end of our first season, the first 12-team playoff season, the first unreviewed season. Actually, it's a weird thing today. I just looked on Facebook, and today, 2 years ago, was the idea that Maddie had put in my head for this. Yeah. So, like I said, if folks y'all don't know, if you wasn't around for the first episode, my wonderful wife 2 years ago, when was in the lovely state of upstate New York, brought me this idea of, why don't you do a podcast? Mostly because I talk a lot about sports to her. And sometimes she don't want to hear it, but that's okay.
She'll get over it, huh?
But luckily she said, hey, maybe why don't you have an idea of a podcast? 2 years later, here we are on episode 42 of the said podcast.
Episode 40.
Slap hands.
What was that? It looks like we made it.
Yeah, but before we get into the actual reason why we're here, which is the semifinal preview, I want to get into a couple other things. You know, we are a SEC football podcast, but as of y'all know, this is recorded on Wednesday, so yesterday was Tuesday. We had five or six matchups inside the SEC, inside the basketball. Couple upsets being number 8 Florida upset number 1 Tennessee, beat them by 30, 73, 43.
Yeah, they took them to the woodshed.
That was a pretty good one. Georgia upset Kentucky 82-69 in what was a good game. The thing is, the SEC's packed this year. There's 10 teams inside the top 25, and then there's just 6 teams. The 6 teams unranked I'm looking at is Georgia, Vanderbilt, LSU, Missouri, Texas, and there's one more. I'm not sure who that is. But, pretty stacked. Probably going to be Ole Miss. I don't know. But Mississippi State did handle their business 76-64 over Vanderbilt. Missouri, after getting beat by Auburn on Saturday, come back with an 83-67 victory over LSU. And congratulations to Mr. 214 himself, Bruce Pearl. As the Auburn Tigers did defeat Texas in Austin last night, 87-82, after they did blow a big-time lead. But we're not going to really talk about that because it don't matter.
Well, no, I'm just they had, I don't know the guy's name, but he had 35-something plus
Coulomb or Colin?
Yes,
yeah.
He shot the ball lights out. And without him, I'm saying it still could have been a super lopsided victory for Auburn. But that kid was caught fire last night. He really brought them back into the game. I think it got down to even 8. With about 3 or 4 minutes left.
It got down to 3 in the last minute.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
I knew it had got super, super intense there right near the end.
Yeah, it got really good right there at the end. But Coulomb had, whatever his name was, he had 34 points and 8 rebounds for this Texas team. But Janai Brew for the Auburn Tigers.
That is the first time a Texas player has scored
over 30.
Over 30.
Mm-hmm.
In a top 10 matchup.
Top 2 matchup.
And last one was Kevin Durant.
In 2007. So it says a lot. And that was against a very good Kansas team at the time. So, was he had a mismatch? Could have been. This Auburn team is, as of right now, they're going to be number 1 if they handle business on Saturday. Number 1 team in the nation. Number 1 Kim Pop. Number 1 everything.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 team in the nation. Everybody sees it. So I don't understand why Tennessee's sitting here. But that loss for Tennessee is going to hurt them. I don't say probably drop them out of the top 5 because an 8th-ranked Florida's, it's pretty good.
Yeah, they're SEC is super strong in basketball this year as far as the SEC team with Arkansas and Coach Cal down there. I didn't realize how good Florida was. I hadn't really kept up. Auburn, Alabama is still in the top 10. Grant Nelson, Mark Spears.
They're
guys
5.
Right.
They actually play tonight, which is Wednesday again, like I said, against South Carolina at 6, and then another matchup on ESPN2 at 6 will be Ole Miss and Arkansas. A good one, Chris Beard versus John Calipari in that matchup. Arkansas not ranked at the time, which is very shocking to me. So I might actually watch that game for a little bit because it should be a good one. 23 ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Don't really know who really is on their roster, but honestly, the tickets are going for $120 right now for nosebleeds.
Yeah, that's I won't say a little high, but that's going to be a good ball game.
But you got to think you got two dynamic coaches, John Calipari, Chris Beard, going at it inside Fayetteville.
Where did Beard play at? That sounds familiar.
Chris, I don't know. I just know he used to coach at Texas, so.
It sounded a whole lot familiar than usual.
But before we lose the regular fans on what we're talking about, I just wanted to, just a little filler right here at the beginning of the episode. Also, episodes to come, like I said, this is episode 42. The transfer portal doesn't open back up until April, so we will be giving y'all 2 shows to fill that time, probably in about... It's going to be a lot. Understand that when these 2 episodes come out, there was a lot of research going into them because you can't watch this or look at this transfer portal lightly. You have to literally look at every team, see who they're getting, what was their impact last year, how could this player might fit, or how could he be better, or does he get worse? It's a lot going on. So that's why we're breaking up into 2 episodes. It's going to be a lot.
Right, and like I said, it's for the fans. I said when you and I talked about it earlier in the week, it was kind of a little daunting task for me because you do all the Twitter and all the stuff, and you're easily to keep up with it. But when I was at the doctor the other day, that 24/7, I got into it and I kind of rabbit holed. There's so much, right? There's so much to learn and keep up and stay with, but then it all could change in the next 3 or 4 days. So.
Right.
We're going to do the best we can to keep it up to date as much as we can, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying was, we also got a milestone episode 50 coming up. Maybe one of those episodes may drop on that episode. I don't know. We don't know yet. But it is going to be after the fact we're done with. It's going to be past January 20th and all of the college football games for the year. But that is something to come. We also have...
Hey, I know we hadn't even talked about it. We want to try to do something with the Senior Bowl or the...
we might look into it.
Or the Reese's or something. I know if we needed... I've just really thought of it on my head here.
Well, I figure about all the times that we have for the off-season, we should have enough fillers.
And did you see who's going to the Reese's Senior Bowl? Mr. Interception himself, Peyton Thorne.
Well, he is a senior.
Yeah, well, you got to be a good
senior. I thought you had to be a good senior. No, because most of the good players are juniors, and they're not allowed to play in that game. Huh. I think they might be changing that rule soon. I'm not sure. Calling it the, I think something kind of like the Reese's. I think the Reese's is going to stay the same, but there's another Senior Bowl type. But I think that one's going to be like a college stars game or something like that.
Right. Is there another game as well that they do for that?
There is. And I don't remember what it's called. I
know. Well, I had seen some of the Auburn players were going to it.
Yeah. There's the Reese's, of course. And then there's another one. I don't remember.
I don't want to say because I have no idea.
I know there's 2, but the Senior Bowl is on Saturday, February 1st, 2025 at 1:30. You can usually watch that game. It is in Mobile, Alabama, as it always has been. But I don't know. There is supposed to be another one. I do know there is. I just don't remember what it's called at the moment.
That's like the only reason I asked, because I thought I had seen one of the Auburn posts had put something up there, and I was just curious to the...
It might be like an East-West game or something like that, and if you
possibly
crinkle that paper,
I'm sorry. I'm multitasking. I'm multitasking.
New project.
Ooh, shinies.
Yeah. Episodes to come, like I said, all that stuff with the transfer portal will be hitting. Off season, we got the logo challenge going on. We're gonna do some more stuff. Maybe we can get some more lives in and get Jud and Brandon in here to talk about maybe some college football or SEC Mount Rushmores and stuff like this. Maybe talk about some past legends. Got a lot in store for y'all. So yes, the off season is coming, but we're not stopping.
Right. The content will be there.
There's a lot of stuff that we have to go over, which to me, the offseason is the better part because the research is there. I like doing all the research. Time consuming, yes, but it's there. The weekly episodes of the games kind of gets frustrating every now and then, especially when, not able to be on every show. Because I'll be listening to you and Cody. I'll be like, and I'll start talking
and
over
just start
y'all.
talking, yeah. And just another super shout out to Cody. I'm glad he's so available as he is. Super good content. I mean, I talked to him a good bit, not just inside the show, but man, every time I've called him, he stepped up, and I just want to really appreciate him for what he does for us.
Yeah. Well, here's a under review. Okay. Here is an under review podcast breaking news as of today. 7 minutes ago, quarterback Tyler Van Dyke from former Miami and Wisconsin quarterback has signed and committed to SMU. Big pickup. Wisconsin didn't have a very good season. I did see the kid from Tulane, Michael Hughes or whatever, is going to be committing to Oregon. Which is big.
Yes.
A big guy and had over 1,400 yards this year. So, but like I said, we're not really going to talk about the transfer portal a lot. But we are going to have, so it's going to be 2 episodes sometime, probably February, March-ish, before the spring portal opens. And it's only going to be open for 10 days. And then after the 10 days, we'll start doing our team breakdowns, and then that's when we're going to get more in depth of who they picked up during that time or who they lost during that time,
right? And
then getting hold of their schedules and coaches like we did at the beginning of the season, but just running out of time.
It happens.
But we're here now, so it's going to be technically the full season.
Yeah. We should have time for the.
But after all that said, before we start talking about football, let's take a word or listen and take a word from our sponsor.
This episode of the Under Review podcast is brought to you by Chuck's Heating and Air. Chuck has over 40 years of service and experience with residential services. He services most makes and models. He is Alabama licensed, bonded, and insured, and locally owned and operated. Are you hot and you're supposed to be cool? Are you cool and you're supposed to be hot? Then you've got a problem. Call Chuck. Area code 256-892-2757. Again, 256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air.
Again, thank you for Chuck's Heating and Air for being our one and only sponsor for our first full season. Like we've always said before, there's other sponsorship availability. Oh, that was a big word for Elmo.
See there?
Availabilities out there for all of us, or all of y'all especially, to come be a part of a sponsor. Trying to get bigger so we can get y'all some more exposure out there.
I like exposure. Oh, that sounds bad.
Shut your mouth. But as we're going to get started, we're going to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Oh, man, as soon as I flip over, you would say that.
This week, on Thursday and Friday, is the college football semifinals. 12 teams went down to 8 teams. The 8 teams went down to 4 teams. Are they the best 4 teams? I mean, they won.
Yeah.
Ball knows ball, and you played on the weekends, and I mean, were there some upsets? Yes. Okay. We're not gonna talk about how there should be a 16-team playoff.
No.
Or how there should be, because that's a whole different story. it should have been said, but I wasn't here on the episode. What should be a 16-team playoff? What should be champions don't get a bye? Well, I'm going to talk about it because this, and baseball fans know this all around the world. You get that bye, and the teams are playing in the wild card. What's going to happen? It's happened to the Braves and Dodgers a lot. They're going to get hot. That team that played in the wild card is going to get hot, and that number one overall seed is probably going to get beat because they didn't play. This team's played 3 games or 2 games, and they're just finding bait. And sports are all about rhythm. Let's be real.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's hard to play a game 2 weeks off or a week off or sometimes even 5 days. But this is the sport. This is you training for this whole time. But it happened. Especially with Oregon, they came out flat that game.
Right.
And that's why they got beat pretty bad. And which brought us a really good matchup on Friday. But first, we're going to skip over to the Thursday matchup, January 9th, which will be my lovely wife's birthday. Which brings us to number 6 ranked team, Penn State, Nittany Lions, versus the number 7 underdogs. I call them underdogs, but I'm pretty sure most people don't want to see Notre Dame. But the Notre Dame, number 7, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And what could be a good one? They did say this will be the winner of this game will be the first time a black coach has made it to the college football championship game, which is a very exciting thing for football. Let's be real. I don't care, race, ethnicity, or whatever it is. This is still a big milestone. And yes, when it popped up the other day on Twitter, everybody was like, why is they making it about race? It's not about race because this is huge. This is history because the first black head coach inside of a championship game will be in 2025. If you're not making history, then you're making it now. And surprise Penn State's here. But Marcus Freeman is a very good coach when he took over the reins of Brian Kelly. So Brian Kelly left him a pretty good team, and he's took it and run with it. Did have a rough season his first year, but has got Notre Dame inside the 12-team playoff, which maybe that's why they were fussing for a 12-team playoff so they could get in there. Who knows? But now they're here, and they're 1 win away from playing on January 20th for the national championship.
I like this fact. I've never been a big Franklin fan, and I didn't know much about the Notre Dame guy, but still a super great milestone. Like you said, we're making history here in 2025. Really excited for this game as well. Some days I don't think Penn State deserves in. And even I don't know if it's like you said, if it's the 4 best teams, but it's the winning teams,
right?
Because as far as I think, Georgia slacking a little last week, but I think what a lot of that had to do with the Beck injury, a few other things.
But if I'm a Georgia fan, that Carson Beck injury and what Gunnar Stockton has in store, do not fret, my guys.
No.
He played great in the 2 games that he did. Being not having a lot of time. I think it said first start since 2022 in the quarterfinal game. So, it's been a long time sitting on the bench.
Yeah, the future's bright right there. I think he could be a really good quarterback in the SEC coming. But no, and then we've seen how well Arizona State played Texas. That was a heck of a ball game. One of the best ball games I think we've had in the playoffs so far. Whether it not be a blowout or just a close ball game where one team leads at the beginning and catches back up. But no, but I think this one can be exciting as well. The quarterback matchup, Riley Leonard and Drew Allard, I don't know if that's going to be the focus point.
Let's be real. That's the battle of mediocres.
Right.
Riley Leonard is from Fairhope, Alabama, so I don't understand why.
Fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. I don't understand why he didn't go to one of the Blue Bloods. But anyways, and then Drew Allard, both of them have not performed a lot inside. But that is because of Jeremiah Love and Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. That's the reason why they're not having to. But, the focal point is on the running backs this game, like you were saying. But let's look at the Warren and Faison wide receiver tight end matchup for these teams. Both of them have had stellar games.
Yeah, and like last week, I picked Warren to be the MVP of the Fiesta Bowl or
something like that.
Whatever they were in. I mean, 98 receptions, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, averages just a little over 11 yards a catch. So stellar numbers for the big tight end, which is one of my favorite positions to watch. And who's on the other side of the ball
for Notre Dame?
Well, they got Bo Collins, the wide receiver, 37 receptions, 456 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging about 12 yards a carry. He seems to be their
Bo Collins.
Yeah.
I was talking about Jordan Faison, who had 4 catches and 46 yards in the win over Georgia. But if you take a look back at the game before that, it was really when against Indiana. Is really what I'm saying. The kid was spectacular. 7 catches, 89 yards, and he is also I know he's a wide receiver, but he's a smaller wide receiver. So I mean,
compared to your traditional wide receiver,
yeah. Compared to your like Jamar, he's like the Brock Bowers of like Jamar Chases and Justin Jeffersons and all these.
If you don't know any football, you just got totally lost on what you were trying to get at. But no, I get what you're saying.
Casual, I'm sorry. If you're just here for us, yeah, if
you didn't know who Brock and Jamar Chase and all them
you're
guys
meatballs because you're lost in the sauce right now.
Yeah, exactly. So no, and what I really liked last game for Penn State was their special teams. The field goal, the kicking coach, he needs a raise because I think they hit everything from. I think they hit all 5 or all 3 extra points. No, both extra points, all 3. Excuse me, all 3 field goals, and had that 98-yard return, flying to the ball. I don't know if special teams in this game is going to be a game changer, much as the running back matchup is. But I do like special teams, but it also gives me heartburn at the same time.
Special teams, special players.
But no, with that being said, like I said, I'm not much on the defense for either one of these guys. They've played well enough to get here. I don't think defense. Now, watch me be totally wrong. Defense not be the biggest thing. I think our biggest thing, like you said, the running backs, and then with the special teams and not having mistakes that will hurt you in the long run. And we've seen in early struggles with fumbles, turnovers, interceptions in all the games we've had so far that have been horrendous. Like the SMU quarterback, you throw 3 picks, you're bound to lose. You're bound to lose the ball game,
which he was,
and he did.
Yeah, but it's great team. I mean, this game is no. Let's be real. Nobody really wants to see it. Everybody would love to see Georgia and Boise State, or Georgia and Notre Dame.
Yeah, especially for fans down here, because this is mostly northern teams and teams that we don't associate with so much down here. But for the fans out there that are in that area, this is one of the lifetime matchup. Not one of a lifetime, but it's going to be a good matchup.
I didn't know this either. The Notre Dame and Indiana game, they didn't have to travel far for that game.
How far was it?
Let's see. Filler, and I'll look it up.
And with this game, Todd, it's a 58.5%, 41.5% in Notre Dame's favor, which I do like Notre Dame here. I like you said, you don't want to call it the underdog because they're so close. It's going to be a good matchup. I am a numbers guy as far wise as that. I think Penn State's going to keep it really close, and I think at the end of the day, special teams is going to win this ball game.
Definitely. The big thing is we all know that it's 3-phase football: offense, defense, special teams. That's what wins you the games. Most times defense. But to me, I would want to see Penn State win because I like Singleton and I like Allen. But the way Notre Dame's defense played against Georgia says it all to me. I'm taking Notre Dame for that reason. Because to be that three-phase team, you need to – they got special teams. Mm-hmm. They got a little bit of offense. Now they got defense, and that's why I say Notre Dame takes the cake and them.
Right, and once you get into these playoffs, I don't say that your team can necessarily take off at one of them, but you can have a bad quarter for one of them three aspects, or maybe even a bad half. But where your other two parts of that, your offense, defense is going to pick up. Well, maybe you fumbled a punt or something, or something like that. But now we're getting into the cream of the crop, where if you have all three each quarter, each half, that you're going to win the ball game. And I think Notre Dame checks all these boxes for me.
I do too. And fun fact, Indiana University and Notre Dame University are exactly 200 miles apart.
Good walking distance for some folks.
So, like 3-hour drive. But it's literally, one's at the tip top near, was that Michigan? One's near Michigan, which that is Notre Dame. Anywho. No, that is, Notre Dame, and then Indiana's over there down there near Columbus. But,
So, I know real quick, Burgess got the quarterback that committed to Oklahoma State today. Or he was a quarterback that he was a wide receiver, and I think he played at Auburn. Is it Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson.
So where did he play at Auburn? Was he the receiver?
He was the receiver.
Okay, I just seen it. I guess because I've been clicking on stuff for Oklahoma State with Hayden and whatnot, it brought that up.
Yeah. But
okay.
You taking Notre Dame in this game?
Yeah. I want the Fighting Leprechauns.
All right. Well, let's get to the second matchup. Inside AT&T Stadium, which Texas has already played once this year in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Number 8, Ohio State takes on number 5, Texas Longhorns, and welcome back Bevo, because he's at the game this week.
Oh, is he going to be I started to use him for the graphic, but I didn't think to put a big Buckeye, a live Buckeye for Ohio State.
Never mind. I can't say what I'm going to say. But but this is the best matchup.
Yes, sir.
The winner of this game is going to win the national championship, no matter what. Just because the numbers are in favor of Texas, 50.6 to 49.4.
Closest game I think we've reviewed or even done any this year.
Texas coming off of a squeaker win in second overtime over Arizona State Sun Devils, which hurt because I wanted Scatterbo. But it's okay. He played a heck of a game. Arizona State played a heck of a game.
Really, I think I don't know his intentions, for NFL, but I thought he really elevated his stock.
Right. Especially against the Texas level team.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've said before. Yeah. That's what I've said before. And this matchup is between top 1 defense and top 2 defense. So this is why this game right here is going to be really good. And then Ohio State, Jesus Christ. One of them, yeah. One of the red teams. Ohio State, out of a dominant performance last week, beating the quack out of Oregon, 41-21.
Still a shocker.
It is, but like I said, at the same time, I call it the wild card effect. Even though there's no wild card in here, it's just a wild card effect. And that's like, the Braves beating the Dodgers that year.
Oh, I know. Me and Brendan had tickets for it. Ugh.
It's just, anywho, 2 best teams defensive wise in the country. So
how how does that match up with these? I think we got 2 of the best quarterbacks left here, with Will Howard and Quinn Ewers. So
the best prevail? 2 out of 4 is not really good picking size, but
50-50s.
But Will Howard has come on and played great football here lately. But his supporting cast around him is what making him better. Trevion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins, Jeremiah Smith, Abuga. Those 4 cast members, the supporting cast for the Ohio State.
Well, but then you, in that same breath, flip over. Look at the guys that are around Ewers.
Yep. Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, Windsor,
Gunnar Helm, my
Gunnar
favorite
Helm,
tight
yeah.
end. I mean, so I think this could be an offensive shootout, or let's see, not really an offensive shootout because I think the defense is going to pick up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say who gets the ball last here in this game. Because, and granted, we have seen Ewers struggle through the years as much as we've covered Texas. And everybody wants to jump back to, well, Will Howard made that fungo play against Oregon. They lost the ball game there. But like you said, I think he's got way better. I think you were getting the best Will Howard that we've seen through his career at Ohio State. Probably not the best in Quinn Ewers, but still really good.
To me, I had something. I was gonna say it.
Did you lose your train of thought?
Yeah, I found it. When I look at the other screen, I found it. The over/under for this game is a 53.5 spread. I'm not a betting man. I'll take the over or the under on that one.
Yeah,
53 points combined.
It's 25 maybe a piece. 20 right in there. 4 touchdowns a piece. So
I don't see it. I'm shooting more like a 21-17 game, 21-20.
28.
Something close but low.
Right.
I mean,
but that's what makes for good games. And
I mean, yes, Ohio State has that big playability with Jeremiah Smith, who showed that in the Oregon game.
The first quarter of the Oregon game. I mean, every time he comes, number 4. Yeah, so
freaking Roadrunner.
Right, but then you got the grittiness, the competitiveness like Gunnar Helm and Matthew Golden, who are just stellar guys in that receiving core.
And the Gravedigger, who's been there before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he's banged up, but he's also the supporting cast around him is picking up when they need to be picking up.
Right. So even with him being Gravedigger and stuff like that and being banged up, and yes, we have seen him not play so well because I think 2 games ago he missed and he come back for the playoff. He wasn't the same Isaiah Bond that Alabama got.
No, definitely
by no means. But I think even Isaiah on his not best day is still pretty top tier for this receiving core.
Yeah, I think somebody on that receiving core might be a freshman. Let me check out here. It's one of the big ones, I want to say. Silas Bolden's a senior. It's a good one. Isaiah Bond, who's only a junior who can come back next year. Matthew Golden's a junior.
Or transfer, whichever one.
Yeah, again. Now, DeAndre Moore's another one. He's a big one. He's a sophomore. Ryan Wingo. Number 5. Yeah.
Now, wasn't there a bunch of Wingos that played at Georgia?
Yeah, defense.
Yeah,
and then another one played at LSU as well. The linebacker.
Okay, that's
right. Okay, that's whatever his name is.
That's. I really don't. I don't want to. Not that I'm biased to pick against Texas, but man, Ohio State played so good, so well, so fast in the game against Oregon. But then they did travel off a little bit. As Nick Saban said, they took their foot off the gas and really didn't finish because I think Oregon still scored 33 points or so.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, and I don't like picking against SEC, but I think it's going to be too much Ohio State.
I'm picking Ohio State too. I like what they're doing. Texas, show us something, but
right. I think that's much as so well as they played against Oregon, and like I said, they come out so fast. I mean,
it's not just the way they played against Oregon; it's the way they played against Tennessee, another top SEC team this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith, they must be roommates, buddies, best friends, something, because they were attached at the hip. Yes, they did. So, I think the biggest thing in this will be Texas show us something more than what you have.
Yeah, and that's why we're leaning toward, I'm leaning towards Ohio State in this scenario. Not just for I think the loss to Michigan actually turned them around a little bit. Losing by 3 to your rival really does hurt. Tennessee got the blunt of it.
Especially if you're Ryan Day.
Yeah, Tennessee got the blown up, but let's talk about Ryan Day. 2 big wins in the playoffs so far. Nobody,
but that's still not.
But
a win
they've had
against
the
Michigan.
hardest test, though. They have had the
I
hardest
think so.
test.
And what we did discuss that is how far is this was going to be the toughest match or the toughest road to the championship was this higher bracket.
This 8-9
yes midway
matchup. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it shows you face Tennessee, a pretty good SEC program. Then you face Oregon, the number 1 overall team. And then now you're facing Texas, the SEC runner-up. Now, who are you going to play in the championship game? That might be their easiest game. Let's just say it.
Right.
Like I said, but the winner of this game is going to be your national championship.
Yeah, I
don't see it any other way, though.
Yeah. And even at the beginning of the year, we started just SEC, and we did talk about Texas having that chance to be there, and here they are. So now let's prove it. I mean, you're going to have to fly by the seat of your pants, hair on fire, and your pants down to beat Ohio State. But like you said, I again reiterate, show us something, Texas, because we know Ohio State can put points up fast. Their defense plays like a scared cat. So, I mean, if you're going to be in the national championship, you're going to have to go through Ohio State.
Yep, and it's odd, but it's going to make a good matchup. I'm pumped up for Friday for this game. Much less Thursday. I mean, yeah, I get to watch it. It's okay. I get to watch them all, actually.
Or it could be snowed in Friday, whichever one. Yeah, you look thrilled.
Right. That cocaine out there is not snow. I've witnessed 6 foot of snow before. That ain't nothing.
That's that fine powder.
Powdered sugar.
Yeah, you've had it up to your ear bowl. What's the ear bowl?
Yeah, and I've also seen my wife have hypothermia from snow and
right.
But what's the next
Still
slide?
The best videos. But nowhere we're I think that was it.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot I had this one in there. Just really great matchups. I think these, because first week's playoffs, terrible matchups as far as blowouts and stuff. Second week, a little bit better matchups to a certain thing. But now I think this is the meat and potatoes of it. The Texas game, Ohio State. Hopefully that's going to be the best game all season. And yes, we tried to put that on Oregon and Ohio State, and it really turned out to be a whoopee cushion. Then flip to the other side. I think it's going to be a good ball game. Maybe not. Maybe competitive to the end here with Notre Dame and Penn State, but I'm really looking forward to the Ohio State game.
Most definitely. And then as we execute into that, we're going to go over to our, which hasn't been posted yet. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I have not. Holy shenanigans.
Nope. I don't have the picture, so I didn't even think about it until Billy actually just texted me about it. I guess he was watching the live or something. He's like, I went to go vote. Couldn't find it. I said,
holy piss, I forgot slap all about it, because after Cody left the other day, me and Brittany, we finished watching the dadgummit.
Right.
All right, well, I will get that up as soon as we get off. Yeah.
But
I'm in trouble.
It is Mississippi State. All 4 of these are not bad logos. 4, no. I'm just tired of seeing it. Let's be real. I'm tired of seeing 4. I don't like it. I like 3 and I like 2.
I mean, super old school, like me and Cody talked about. I like the old little barking dog with the pennant. But 2's probably my favorite. I do like he's just kind of like he's got somewhere to go. And
man on a mission.
Yeah, ain't nobody getting in his way.
Ain't nobody gonna break my stride.
Ain't got no gas in it.
They're gonna fall with a ring of gas.
No, you done made my blood run cold, because I can't believe I did not put them up.
I do like 2. Man on a mission. Maybe I wish some teams would update these. Put a football in his arm, just like he's like taking off with a football or something. Pretty cool.
Well, see, like I was telling Cody, with 3 and 4 graphic, if you're not watching, if you're just listening, 3 is the MSU letters integrated to each other, and 4 is just the maroon M with the state ribbon across it. Right.
Now, Marty,
they did have what?
Where's the current logo?
That was the current one.
The italic state?
Yes.
No, that's not.
Well, that's the one they're getting today.
Okay, there's another one, which it's literally the italicized state.
Okay, that's what I was getting into. Is the similars? There were two similar logos, 4, 3, and 4, but to me they were so similar that it really didn't matter.
Right.
To put 15 different logos on here, because I think just the font size on the number on 3 was a little bit different, and like you said, the italicized state there on this one. But I do apologize, folks. What are they gonna do? Cut my pay?
Well, you ain't working for free. You are now.
Yeah, right.
But again, everybody, thank you for everybody who's going to listen to this. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Spotify. I said thank you, podcast. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, TikTok. Stuff that some of the stuff we are slacking on, but we're busy men. It's
remotely busy men.
Yeah, Brandon's trying to welcome a baby into this world, so. Not really much on the editing part and getting videos up for TikTok, which we all understand. We've been there.
Yeah. And Jud's doing Jud things, so.
Yeah. Also, another breaking news right here at the end of the podcast. Alabama offensive tackle Elijah Pritchett has officially committed to the University of Nebraska.
Oh, I didn't know he had left.
Yeah. Big pickup for Nebraska, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Chuck City.
Thanks for making the call to go under review. Join us next time as we go to the monitors. Until then, keep your flag handy.